Welcome back, everybody. It's Brian Kirk with Eat to My Own Beat, taking the road less traveled. My hair is always messy. That's just the way it is. So if you see it in an interview, it's done like that as well. We did an interview a little while ago with my cousin Allison Matthews about her time in Peru. We're going to talk to her in a few seconds here. I just wanted to give you an update on what that interview was about. So we talked about what took her there, what she did there, and we got some pictures, and we're going to show you those as well. So please enjoy.
When was it that you went to Peru?
I went to Peru in May of 2019.
Okay,
Or no, sorry, not 2019, sorry, 2013.
2013, okay.
2013, I was 20.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And what made you want to go there? Or why was the reason you went there?
So I actually went as part of a group. I had no idea this was even happening. And then someone from my church reached out and said, hey, there's a young adult group that's going to Peru and they're going to go learn about agriculture down there. And I was like, oh, that sounds pretty cool, maybe. And then some more people told me about it. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll apply. I'm like not thinking I'm going to get in at all because I figured it was going to be a really popular thing. And I got in. I had about I think a month or 2 months to get the money together for the trip. So part of it was subsidized, and then I had to raise the rest of the money myself. And so I did that. I fundraised from like that 2 months. I fundraised like crazy. I had like a coffee shop fundraiser where I had my friends come and play music. And then I served Peruvian coffee and Peruvian treats. It was really cool. So yeah, it was kind of a mad dash, but it was totally worth it.
Yeah, it was really neat that you did the food sort of stuff to it. So you had an idea of what they have there and kind of sell it to the people there too, so that people understand why you're going there. Like they get a bit of a taste of it too. So
exactly. I didn't serve guinea pig, but I mean,
no, yeah, people frown on it here if you serve guinea pig. So.
Yeah.
Do you suffer from jet lag or anything like that when you fly, or?
This was my first kind of long haul flight that I'd ever been on. Like I've been to New York and I've been to like the East Coast, and that's only, I think the East Coast was 4 hours. Peru is only 3 hours, but I think it was a 10-hour flight down there.
Was it direct?
No, I had to fly. So it probably could have been, but we flew, everybody in the group that was going all flew to Toronto first, and we met there. And then we flew to Peru from Toronto. So yeah, the flight from Toronto to Peru was a red eye, 10-hour red eye. I don't recommend that. It was horrible.
We did a red eye from Vancouver to Taipei, Taiwan.
Oh gosh.
We left at 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we got to Taipei. It was like a 12 and a half, 13-hour flight. It was ridiculous. And I, for some reason, was so sick the entire time.
Oh,
it was just horrible. I've never experienced like anything on a flight before that where I got sick. And I've flown lots of times, and I was just so sick the entire time.
Yeah.
And Carla was sitting beside me, and she was sleeping, and I would just keep going back to the bathroom. Luckily, it was one of those 2-decker planes, like the big ones. So we were at the very front of the second level, and the bathroom was right there, and there was hardly anyone else on the top part of this, so I can go to the bathroom.
Oh, that's good.
I was sick, but it was just horrible.
Yeah, that I've had flights like that. I went to Mexico, and I had the same thing. I was sick the entire way down. I'm like, is this gonna be my full trip?
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, gravel's your best friend with stuff like that.
Yeah, I wish I had known about that beforehand. I definitely was like, oh, I'll be fine. I got this. Yeah. I did not got this.
Well, it's an experience, right? You tell people about it for the rest of your life. So
yeah.
Do you sleep on the plane?
So because of that, because I did fly red eye direct, I did not sleep. I thought, no problem, I'm gonna like have no issues falling asleep. I was in like the middle of the plane, like in the middle row on the end, and I didn't know anybody on my trip yet. Like I had been talking to maybe, I think, one girl, and I kind of connected before the trip. There was one person from Vancouver, but I didn't meet him beforehand. I met him at the airport. Yeah, I bought a travel pillow. It was the wrong kind. And I was just awake. I could not fall asleep. And we got to Peru at like 6 a.m. And so then we had to be awake for the whole day. I kept falling asleep. And like, when I sleep with my head back, I snore. And so, yeah, all day.
That's a family trait.
Yeah,
We all do
totally.
that.
Yeah,
If you've ever been in a room with grandma and grandpa, you'll understand that when they're sleeping, they're very loud.
totally. Yep. Yep. All those years going to the cabin.
Yeah. Did you read it all or watch the TVs or anything? Or
I just ended up watching movies because I was like, I have nothing else to do, and this flight is so long.
what airline it was?
It was, I think it was Air Canada. I'm pretty sure it was Air Canada. Yeah. So I think Les Mis had, yeah, Les Mis had just come out, so I watched.
That's a long one, so that's a good one.
Yeah, it was good.
Like 3
that's
hours
the
long.
one yeah, that was the only one I can really remember. And then I think I tried to sleep. Like I put music in, and I was like, okay, this will help me fall asleep. And no, definitely not.
Melatonin.
Yes, that would have been so helpful.
The gummies are so good. I take like 4 of these, and I fall asleep within minutes when I go to bed now.
Yeah, I have melatonin too. I've got it right here.
Oh, yeah, I have the same stuff. I just switched to the gummies. I love gummies now for a minute.
This is too strong. I wake up in the morning and I feel I'm so groggy, so I have to like cut them in half. But
yeah, try the gummies because they work really well.
I'll show you what I use now for sleeping, and it's amazing. This.
I have.
For the same. Oh my gosh, that's too funny with the same one.
I actually
love it.
I use a weighted one for my eyes, and I have my headphones in on this, so I kind of have it higher up on my head. So
yeah, oh, I love it. Like my cousin recommended it, and then I'm like, I tried it. I was like, oh, this is the best sleep I've ever had.
I listen to audiobooks through my headphones, so they help me fall asleep. So it's just perfect. So
that's exactly what I do.
I'm gonna do that with when I fly next time. I'm just gonna have that going on and
totally. Yeah, we got it hacked now. We got it hacked.
Yeah, when you travel enough, you learn all these different things, and you watch YouTube videos, and people suggest stuff, and it's just
totally.
You just learn so much through experience, right? So
definitely, yeah.
So, what are your travel goals?
Well, once we get out of COVID times, I have a lot of places I want to go. I've got this book. It's called Top 10 World, and I've got all these stickies sticking out of it of all these really cool places, really cool things to check out. I'm also an avid like travel vlogger watcher. So
I've seen Traveler.
Yes,
he's the best, isn't he?
He's really great. Also like Departures. It's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really old. It's from like 2007. Okay. So this is like pre YouTube travel kind of stuff. Kara and Nate are amazing. I've been following them for years. If I ever met them, I think I would cry, real tears. Yeah, they're fantastic. Yeah, so anyways, I watch all these people and I'm like, oh, there's all these places I want to go. But number one, next place I'm gonna go is Japan.
It is amazing.
Yeah,
Trevor's been there.
My whole family's been there.
Yeah, I can see how your parents are there too.
I'm the only one that hasn't, and I'm like, guys, this is like, what? How have I
like
not
sushi, right?
So, yeah.
So, it is so good.
I want to see it all. I have so many. My brother and I have a Google Doc that we share where we put in like, I want to go here. I want to check out this. I want to try this food. Like, I want to stay at this hotel. And in Japan, I really want to go to Okinawa because it's like the beach kind of town. So yeah, that's my first, like, as soon as we're allowed to travel, I'm gone. I'm going to be there. Yeah. So
yeah, it's go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was going to say, I really want to go to the Middle East. I know things are really kind of chaotic there right now, but I don't know. I've just been drawn to it for years. The first place I wanted to go was Turkey. And then from there, it became I wanted to go to Jordan. And then watching videos about like Iraq and Afghanistan, like where it's safe, I'm like, I need to go there. The people are amazing.
Kurdistan and Iraq. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah, definitely. I've heard such wonderful things about those people. And I'm like, I need to go experience this for myself. So
you don't need a visa to go to Kurdistan in Iraq. You don't actually need a visa to go to Iraq at all. You apply on arrival. And you just pay a fee and you just get in right away. As long as you have a valid passport, you just get to the airport and they get you in there. So and Jordan and Turkey are pretty safe. Oman's pretty safe. We're going to United Arab Emirates in like 3 years, something like that, and then we're going to Kuwait.
Ooh.
Which is the most expensive. It's the richest country in the world. Their dollar is worth more than any other currency in the entire world, and it's like ridiculously hot there all the time.
Didn't they make like, I guess this was probably in Dubai. I think they created fake rain.
Yes.
Yeah, or they like not fake rain, but they like figured out how to shock the clouds into creating rain.
They actually have a snow. They have like a ski resort inside. It's all artificial.
Yes, I've seen that. Kara and Nate went there and saw the video on it.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. Like the things that they have there. And they have, I think, the world's deepest swimming pool.
Probably. Yes.
Yeah, it's something, I saw a couple of videos like that on YouTube. And it's like 200 feet deep or something like that. Like people scuba dive in it.
Yeah.
So
well, it's such a rich country too, right? So they have, and they want to get as many tourists as possible. That airport is one of the busiest airports in the world, or I think Heathrow is the busiest one in the world, but I think it's the second busiest in the world because it has so many transfers through all the different countries, especially through Africa, Asia, rest of the Middle East and Europe and stuff like that. So it's got everything on there. So yeah, there's actually a TV show. They have it. It's on YouTube. It's not supposed to be, but it's about Dubai Airport and like all the different things they do there, and it's really cool. It's huge.
Cool. Yeah, I mean, after, again, I'm sorry, I'm so obsessed with Kara and Nate. I could talk about them for hours, but they are really big on hotels and their reviews of like lounges and airports. Yeah, I think their favorite, they said the Jewel in Singapore was also one to check out for sure. There's
airport in Singapore is supposed to be the nicest airport in the world. It's like they have hotels you can sleep in just for a few hours if you have flights there, and they have a pool and they have spas and they have like they can get your haircut, you can watch movies, they have everything there.
They have there's a fountain that comes out of the ceiling and comes down, which is just this crazy. I need to see this all. I need to just go see it.
We're going to Vietnam and Singapore in November. So we're really looking forward to that because Vietnam is like our go-to. Banh mi's, we love banh mi's. They're like we have one we have Vietnamese Friday in the house, so we have banh mi's or pho. Yeah. So we have once a week we have one I every Friday, and it's just so awesome. It's just like amazing.
I love that.
It's like
there's actually I found a really good place in Victoria that makes amazing banh mi, and I never thought I would find something as good as in Vancouver. I used to go to this little hole in the wall beside my office, and their banh mi were like $5. They were huge. You got so much meat, and like the girls knew who I was because I was there a lot. And I'm like, I'm never gonna find anything equally as good. And I managed to find a place in Victoria that was just as yummy.
Yeah, the place that I go to, they bake their bread fresh every morning. And then they have like the best ingredients, and they have the tofu one too, which Carla can eat. So we both love.
There we go.
Yeah, so good. I started having them first, and I'm like, you got to try this. They're so good. So she's like having them. This is amazing. So we want to go to Vietnam and try the real deal, like the real Vietnam. Vietnam's got such amazing foods. It's just like they have the pho and the banh mi's, and it's like they have like so much chicken and pork and everything there.
Vietnamese coffee is so good.
I don't drink caffeine, but I've heard it's supposed to be really good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Well, I drink tea, which is the decaffeinated tea, because they drink that a lot we're going to Morocco, Algeria, and Tunisia, and it's the northern part of Africa, and they drink a lot of tea. It's like the big thing they do there. So it's mint tea. Yeah. So I'll be drinking a lot of mint tea. So
mint tea is the best.
And they like load it with sugar. It's like sugar, like this much sugar, this much tea, and mint on top of it, and then you mix it all up. So like, and then they make the tangines in Morocco, which is like these big dishes, and they cook them in the oven, and the chicken gets so tender, and there's vegetables, and it's just so tender. It's just amazing. So
I'm like getting hungry just thinking about that. So
and the seasoning and stuff like that they put on it, it's just so flavorful and so amazing and stuff like that. So
I'm gonna be like watching your videos and like salivating.
Yeah. I'm learning. I'm watching all these videos so I can get an idea of what to do, like for filming and stuff, like and vlogging and stuff. So I've never done it. So that's what I've been doing the last 2 or 3 months, is just practicing talking, and so I can speak clearly and read things properly. And like my first video sucked, and as they get better, they're getting better and better. So it's just
totally.
So I'm looking forward to.
It's always how it goes.
Exactly. You got to practice before you actually get to do it too. So it's like 5.5 months before we go, and I'm counting down every day. It's like 152 days or something like that. And I'm looking forward to it. And every day I'm checking to see what the flight restrictions are for COVID. And it's just, right now you have to do the PCR test before you go, and whether or not you can go this, there, and that. So
the nose one.
Yeah. And it's expensive. It's like $150 a person. So
wow.
But it's worth it if you get to travel.
Totally.
Right?
Yes, absolutely. I would pay it in a heartbeat if it meant that I got to go to Japan. So at least to start with. What did
you know about Peru before you visited?
Not a whole lot. I guess we got pretty off topic there. Not a whole lot. I kind of found out that we were going and I was like, what's in Peru? Like, I don't even know. So I think I knew about Machu Picchu. I didn't know what it was. I just knew Machu Picchu was one of the, like, I think it was the 7 wonders of the world, or man-made wonders of the world. So I was like, okay, like that's there. Other than that, I didn't know a whole lot. So it was quite the learning experience for me when I went there. Yeah.
So,
I knew they spoke Spanish.
You speak Spanish?
Yeah.
Oh, do you actually speak Spanish as well, or no?
No, I took French. That was my language.
I took German. So when I was in Berlin, I was able to speak it fine. And the waitress at one of the restaurants, she's like, "Thank you for speaking German." She spoke English very well, but she appreciated the German too. So
yeah, totally.
What did you eat when you were there?
I ate a lot of different things. So this might sound really gringo of me, as I was called while I was down there. But I thought it was a lot like Mexican food. I didn't really know what to expect food wise. But their food is pretty, I mean, they've got their cultural stuff. So cultural, like we had a lot of stews, we had empanadas. But for the most part, like we spent a lot of time up in the north of Peru, like in northern Peru, and it was a lot of like vegetables, meats. Like it was just very plain, not fancy at all, not spicy. One of my favorite meals that we had when we went there was we went to a farm, and then we stopped somewhere else for lunch along the way, and the fishermen were like, "We just caught this fish out of that river right there," and like pointed to the river that was below us. And like, we got it from there just like 10 minutes ago. And they served it like whole, and we're just like, here you go.
Wow.
It was delicious. It was so good. Like one guy in my group ate his fish whole.
Oh, wow.
Bones and all.
Did you stay in a hotel when you were there, or?
Yeah, so we stayed in a few different places because we kind of traveled around. So we spent the first couple, I think it was the first night or two in Lima. And then we took a bus up country to, the name escapes me. I can't remember now, but it was quite far north.
If you remember, I'll just put it down on the bottom so people.
Okay, yeah, I'll send it to you after. I think it was called Tranquila or Tranquilo, something like that. Anyways, we stayed in this seaside resort. We were the only people there. Like it had like just enough little cabins for us.
Wow.
Electricity only ran for 4 hours a day.
Oh, wow.
So at nighttime the lights would come on and you could charge stuff and whatever. But there was no Wi-Fi, there was no service, like nothing. But it was right on the beach in the sand dunes. It was beautiful. Oh my gosh, I'm like getting chills thinking about it because it was so gorgeous. We're like right on the ocean, and yeah, it was awesome. Oh, and then after that, we stayed in we stayed in a hotel in Cusco, and then we stayed in another hotel back in Lima, or the same hotel as the first time.
So. You tried guinea pig when you were there?
Yes, I did.
What did you think of it?
I did not know I was trying guinea pig.
Oh, okay.
When I tried it. It was our first night, so we were all really like groggy, and we were at this church. They put dinner on for us, and they served us this stew, and we're eating it, and we're like, so good. What's in it? And they're like, chicken, pork, and mystery meat. And we were like, mystery meat. And they're like, And then we're eating, like, what do you think of it? And we're like, oh yeah, it's really good. They're like, it's guinea pig. And we were like, oh, okay. I guess we've tried guinea pig then. Like, we had no clue. They totally did that on purpose because they knew we were like completely out of it and probably would have said no otherwise.
Yeah,
but
and you liked it, so that's the most important thing.
Yeah,
you won't be frying a guinea pig anytime, but
no, and it tasted like chicken. Like, it really didn't taste like anything weird.
Just flavored with everything else that was in there, sort of thing, right? So,
yeah, exactly. So it wasn't some gross thing that we tried.
Yeah, if they fed you like the fried guinea pig, you would have been like, yeah, no, thank you.
Like the whole thing, yeah, we would have been like, nope, not happening.
That brings me to my next question. Are you consider yourself a picky eater?
No, I am not a picky eater. I tried everything and I got very sick many times on my trip. I had, I don't know if I can say this on the internet, I had TD 4 times when I was in Peru. I was there for 10 days. I had 4 bouts of traveler's diarrhea. It was horrible. And I kept thinking, I'm like, oh, I had some dairy. I'm just having a lactose intolerant moment. Like, it's fine. I was up all night, like, so sick. I'm like, oh, I'm just lactose intolerant.
I know that is, I am too, so.
Yeah, and then I'm like, wait a second, I didn't have any dairy today. No. They don't put dairy in things down there unless you're eating like a dessert. There's no dairy.
Yeah.
So I'm like, and I had the pills for it. I bought the pills and I was like, I got them I never took them. I came home with them and I got sick so many times.
There's some medication you could take. My doctor, when we went to Cuba, she gave us some stuff that will help with like the travel diarrhea and stuff like that, and helps to get your stomach ready for that kind of thing. And you can take it. And did you drink local water when you were there too, or were you drinking bottled water?
We were told not to drink the water or eat salad. No salad, because it was likely washed in water.
Yeah.
And I did take, I think it's called like Ducarol or something.
That's what. Yeah.
Yeah, I took that before I went. I had that, and I still got really sick. And I know it totally was. The only thing that sucked was the night that I was up all night. I was really cranky the next day. I was not fun to be around. Yeah. So I felt really bad about that. I was kind of being a very nice person that day because I was so tired. But yeah, it's just all part of it. And plus, it was because I was trying weird food. Like, it was worth it. I'd rather try the weird food. So yeah.
You watch some of those YouTubers and they're like eating like food that's being cooked on the side of the street, and you're just like, yeah. And I've watched some of them like, yeah, I get sick all the time, but it's worth it.
Yeah, exactly. Like my empanadas, I bought them they were like literally like on the ground, like in a basket, and the lady was like, here.
Yeah, you wonder how often they wash their hands and the foods. Yeah. It's not the same as in Canada, where they have strict rules about food handling and how long it sits there, and exactly. Food safe is not something they've heard of.
No, I definitely ate a lot of street food, I think. Yeah, so no regrets.
No, it's good. So you said you spoke French, but you don't speak any other languages at all? And did you learn any Spanish when you were there? Or?
Yeah, so actually in Peru, there's 2 languages. There's Spanish and there's Quechua. So Quechua is the native language of Peru. And when the Spanish came and kind of tried to take over, they introduced Spanish, which is the main language there. But I didn't learn any Quechua because it was like so far beyond anything I could comprehend. But Spanish, I did start to pick it up while I was there. And when I came home, I was speaking Spanish to the people in the airport. So I picked up a little bit. You kind of have to. It's easier than
I'm using the website Verbling right now. And they have like one-on-one video chats and stuff like that about languages for an hour. And I'm learning Berber, which is the native language of Morocco, Tunisia, and Algeria. And it's like what they speak when they're there. And it's really neat. It's just kind of cool. It's it's very similar to Arabic. And I'm also taking Pashto, which is the native language of Iraq or Afghanistan. So it's a lot of Arabic kind of mixed between the 2 languages, which is really neat. Like you say, Assalamu alaikum, which is hello, or hello, how are you doing? That's the same greeting for all 3 languages: Arabic, Pashto, and Berber. So it's really neat. So, and a lot of the languages there are very similar because they just kind of built off of the Arabic, or the Arabic built off of it. And
yeah, that's kind of cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah. So if you ever want to do a language, Verbling, there's tons of languages they do. This isn't being sponsored by Verbling, just so I say that. They have tons of languages, and they have tons of tutors. and they have, you can pick your time throughout the day and whatever, and it's just an hour. You do it. It's
Oh,
fun.
cool.
You're actually learning a language, and you're talking to someone, and they're testing you, and they're making sure you're actually picking up on the stuff. So it's really neat.
Yeah, cool. I want to learn Japanese for when I go to
Tons of
Japan.
Japanese tutors on there. So
yeah, that's kind of, I use Duolingo. That's kind of what I started doing, especially last year in lockdown when I had nothing else to do.
Using Duolingo for a while, and I was using Rosetta Stone. I just found that it's to do conversational language speaking, you kind of need that extra person to speak with and that knows the language too, so you can get, because you learn the words and whatnot, but you don't really learn phrases and like different. It's just, I found it just a little bit easier for me, so I've been doing that for the last couple months. So.
Cool.
If you could travel anywhere in the world, where would you go? Japan, obviously. That's what.
Yeah.
And the Middle East. You still there?
Sorry, we're a bit laggy here.
Oh, yeah. It's coming back. The internet connection is unstable. I'll put some pictures up over this part. You still there? Oh, there we go.
Oh, there we are.
Working again.
There we go. I'm like, hello?
Yeah, I was doing the same thing. So I'll just put some pictures up over that part when we're legging out there. So
okay,
so
cool.
You said you visited Machu Picchu. Did you do the 3-day hike or whatever it was, or?
No, we didn't have time for that. So what we did was we took a train from, so okay, here's the other thing too. Altitude sickness happens in Peru. And I knew this. I didn't think I was going to be affected. I'm like, I'll be fine. Because we spent a lot of time we spent a lot of time up in the Andes. And so I got really sick up in the Andes. I had altitude sickness up there. And then we came back down, and then we went up to Cusco. And I'm like, okay, I'm prepared this time. I'm going to go get the altitude pills because I don't want to be sick at Machu Picchu. Turns out I had acclimated by that point. So I was totally fine in Cusco. But, I was prepared this time just in case. I had the pills just in case. So we took a train from Cusco to Agua Caliente. Did some shopping in there. And the train was cool. It was kind of like the Rocky Mountaineer where it had the glass ceiling. So that was kind of cool. And the base of Machu Picchu is in the Amazon. So we went from like dry desert up in the Andes to the Amazon, which was cool. I got to see the Amazon. So then we took a bus up to Machu Picchu.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's what we would do too. I don't think we do the full hike. I'm not really a hike outdoor type person, but
no, and it's like
track.
a 15-minute bus ride. Like just do the bus ride.
You get to see take pictures and check out everything, and it's
exactly. And plus with the altitude too, like unless you've already been there for a while, like I would not recommend it at all. Yeah. And it's cool once you get to Machu Picchu, they actually stamp your passport with a Machu Picchu stamp, which was neat. I have that in my passport forever. And man, Machu Picchu is like the coolest place ever. Like I know sometimes these places are a little bit overrated, but Machu Picchu was really cool. Definitely very dangerous. You're kind of on like a dome, like the rock is like a dome, and there's no like safety rail. There's no like watch out, you'll fall to your death, like nothing. It was misty the day that we went there. I was wearing like Toms, which are like just flat shoes.
Yeah.
Like I could have just slipped and gone. Like I would have just been gone off the side of the cliff.
Wow.
Oh,
we're legging again. Oh, there we go. We're back.
There we go. I don't know where we got cut off.
You were saying that there's nothing to stop you from falling off the cliff, sort of thing, and.
Oh yeah, and it's super dangerous. It's just, if you're not holding on to your child.
Yeah. Well, the White Cliffs of Dover in England, it's like this 800-meter precipice over the side, and people are walking. There's nothing like to stop you from going right to the end and looking down. And people are actually doing that. And I'm like so nervous watching these people do that. I'm like, I don't want to watch someone die today. I don't have it in me.
No. And like, I was terrified when I was there, and you know, you have to go along some of the paths. So you're like hugging the wall, like, oh, I don't want to fall. But it was cool. There's llamas that live up there. There's little grassy patches, and so there's some llamas that live up there. There's a hike you can also do up to Huayna Picchu. It's above Machu Picchu. It's like a 45-minute hike, and you can only do it like 3 times a day or something like that. You have to like sign up for it.
Oh, okay.
And then you hike up to this other, that's where they used to do like their astronomy, apparently. So kind of cool. So we got to tour around, and I've got a lot of cool pictures of being in Machu Picchu. It was an awesome experience. 10 out of 10. I know it's like kind of touristy, but like it's so cool to see, and it's not going to be open for very much longer. Like they're starting to really cut back on the number of people that they let in there, because it's really degrading
over tourism.
Yeah, so like when we were there, I think it was up to like 3,000 people a day. That was it. So not a lot of people there, which was nice.
In advance,
but I
if
mean,
you want to go there.
Yeah, definitely. I recommend checking out like the next 10 years, because it's going to be closed soon. So
I think we're going there in the next 10 years. We're going there for sure. Yeah, we're doing like all of South America in the next 10 years. So
yeah. So check it out before it's gone.
Have you ever stayed in a hostel before?
I have not. I think now that I'm almost in my 30s, I don't think I would stay in a hostel. I don't like noise. I need like my quiet. I need my own space. I don't think I would be happy in a hostel. Yeah, it's not for me.
Yeah, I know my brother did that, and his wife, and they've done the hostel thing, but we could never do that. We've never done that sort of thing, and it's just I don't. Yeah, when I was 20, maybe, but not now. Yeah, you like to relax and just
know
everyone that you're around with.
Yeah, not worry like, oh, like people are gonna be loud all night or whatever. So yeah.
Fair enough. So do you think there should be a COVID passport for traveling is what I'm getting at?
This is a tough one. I think so, just given the number of COVID cases that have come into Canada.
Yeah.
You just don't know. And people, choose not to get vaccinated and can, but won't. And it's like you're putting people at risk. I did my part, you did your part. I feel like we get to enjoy the perks of
and I think
COVID-free life.
There's nothing that the countries make their own rules for us to get into. It's always been that way. They can stop you from coming in no matter what reason they want. So
exactly,
definitely especially some of these African countries and South American countries, they haven't got all the vaccines that we have had so far. So they don't want people coming in that are possibly going to infect millions of people. So
like I had to get a whole bunch of vaccines to go to Peru. Like they don't let you in unless you've had them. I had to bring my little card with me proving that I'd gotten, and I had to get like 4.
Get hepatitis B one.
And yellow fever, I think was one of them. And then I had to get a booster of my MMR shot, and I feel like there was one other one. That might have been the Dukoral though, because they did it all together.
Whenever I travel, I make sure to get. I'm like pro-vaccine now. I'm like I can't be one of those people against vaccines, because I got my hepatitis done. I got my what's that one the one you get in case you get open wounds and stuff like that. Tetanus. Got tetanus done. I got my booster for that. I got everything I possibly could that I needed a booster for. I got it done. I didn't want to mess around with it. It's just worth it. You don't want hepatitis, which can affect your liver and shorten your lifespan.
Yeah, and you don't want to bring anything home with you.
You want to enjoy yourself when you're away, right? So it's
exactly. Not worry like, oh, am I going to die because I didn't get a shot before I went? Like
exactly. And you don't want to spend thousands of dollars if you don't get insurance before you went too, right? So
yeah, exactly. So go vaccines.
Exactly. Will COVID make you think about more before going away? Like, will it stop you from going, or are you just kind of just going to enjoy yourself when you go and not think about it?
I think it would definitely be on my mind. Definitely. I mean, it's been almost, a year and a half now that we've been living this life. I think it'll definitely always be kind of there, and I'll definitely do my research about like what's going on there? What are the cases like? How are their vaccination rates? Like that's gonna affect me deciding to go somewhere. So like Japan, obviously they're not really allowing tourists right now, but like they don't have a great handle on COVID at the moment. So
messed up right now.
Yeah, so like obviously I'm not going to go there until they get that figured out, and so that's going to definitely be a factor in deciding like what I want to do and where I want to go.
My next question is, you kind of already answered it, is do you have any trips planned or pre-planned? And that's Japan, obviously. So
yes, and I'm hoping to go to Mexico with my cousin. We've been talking about going there for a couple of years now. Unfortunately, I've decided to go back to school. So yeah, well, we're gonna stay in a hotel. We're not gonna stay in a resort. Yeah, she's very much like, let's go out and actually experience Mexico, not just like sit on the beach. Although I do enjoy sitting on the beach, so kind of do a half and half of that.
Yeah.
But I'm going to school now, so
cool.
I'm not gonna have time to go to Mexico
Probably
or Japan or anywhere.
Probably starts her master's in September, so she'll be busy for the next. It'll be tough for traveling. She's going to be doing that once a week for
That's my ultimate goal. Oh, I think we froze again.
Nope, we're back. You hear me?
Oh. Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah, I can hear you.
Just says it's unstable.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's me. I live in a cave.
Oh, it's okay. We have tons of Wi-Fi boosters all over the house because Carla needs it for her work to do. She does Zoom sessions all day, right? So
yeah, it's probably my internet.
It's okay. So, how many countries have you visited?
I've been to
Canada and America.
I think 3. I've been to Peru, Mexico, obviously the States. I've been all over. I feel like there's been more, but that I think that's it. I've been to a lot of places in the States.
Yeah,
so that's probably why
you went to the East in Canada too. So
yeah, and I've been all over Canada. So wow, I need to travel more.
You have plenty of time for that though. So that's
yeah. I'm not too worried about it. I want to finish school first.
And some of the fun things about traveling is the pre-planning you get to do and learning about all, like what you're doing right now with the Google Sheets and stuff like that. Keep track of all the stuff that you want to see and do, and watching the videos about places and learning about them and stuff. Like I want to go to Afghanistan, but that's not going to happen anytime soon because of what's going on there. And
no, not right now.
No. So, what favorite place you ever visited? Could be in Canada, could be in the States, wherever.
I probably want to see the East Coast of Canada.
Okay.
The East Coast is, I don't know, there's magic there.
Lobster.
There is, yes, it is the magic of the lobster. It was, I cried when I left. I didn't want to leave. I loved it so much. We ate lobster rolls every day. We went all over the Maritimes. We actually hit all 3 maritime provinces in one day. So we started in Halifax in the morning. We stayed in my home bay. We drove to Halifax, did like a touristy thing, and then we drove to PEI. Went to the Anne of Green Gables house, which was like my ultimate lifelong dream.
I read all the books.
We froze again.
No, we're back. We're back.
Oh no!
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I'm so sorry. I keep freezing. Yes.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, so Anne of Green Gables house was my ultimate dream. And then we went to Cavendish Beach. The guy at the little hut let us in for free. It's a national park, so they let us in for free. He's like, we're almost closed, just go, it's fine. So we went there, saw the red sand beaches, and then we quickly booted back to New Brunswick and went and saw the world's largest lobster. So we hit a touristy thing in all 3 provinces, which was really neat. I've never done anything like that before, so that was really awesome. But I would go back there in a heartbeat. I loved it so much. Beautiful, beautiful place.
Would you do a solo trip?
No, I went with my friend.
So would you do a solo?
Would I do a solo trip? I like to think I would, but I don't really know. I like having someone with me. Yeah. But I've also heard going on a solo trip is very freeing. So I might find myself in a position one day where I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go alone. And
girl Lexi who
Lexi Limitless.
Yeah, she's been to every country in the world.
I love her. She's another person I follow.
Yeah, she's the youngest person ever to travel to every single country in the world. So
yeah, she was 21 or something like that. Like that's
helped her family wear like travel agents or something like that. So she went on a lot of trips with them when she was younger. So she had seen a lot of the world before that.
Right. Okay, that makes sense. So I was like, wow, like did she graduate from high school and just go on like a crazy whirlwind adventure?
Pretty much, yeah. Weirdest thing you ever ate was
come on computer, you can do it.
Weirdest thing you ever ate?
Sorry, weirdest thing I ever ate, probably guinea pig. Definitely the guinea pig. Yeah. Actually, while we were in Peru, we were looking at farms. We went to see farms. This was part of the thing. And this guy had all these guinea pigs, and we're all like, "Ooh, they're so cute! Look at the little guinea pigs!" And we're cuddling them and petting them. And the guy's like,
"We're gonna eat those.
What are you doing? Like, those are like livestock. It's like us picking up a chicken and being like, oh, it's so cute. I mean, I would do that anyways, but you know, for most people, they wouldn't like pick up a chicken and pet it. So it was pretty funny. We got some weird looks." So
the next thing I was going to ask is, what do you watch? Travel shows and TV streaming? Yes, you do. You've answered that already.
I highly recommend Departures. They had it on Netflix. They took it off. I wept, and they put it on Amazon Prime. It's so good. These guys go they're from Canada. They go off the beaten track a lot of the time. They've gone to like weird places like Ascension Island. Like I hadn't even heard of it before I saw their show. Yeah, they go all over. They're so cool. They've put out other stuff since then, but Departures was the best.
Yeah, I used to watch Anthony Bourdain all the time, and he went to Quebec, and then off the coast of Canada, there's a small little island that's part of Europe. It's part of France. Yeah. It's like Europe within like Canada.
Oh, yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Yes. It's totally like off in the corner.
And you can see Canada from it.
Yeah, you can see Canada. They use euros there, but you can use the Canadian dollar in a lot of places. And it's like France in North America. It's really neat.
They were asking for permission to be part of like the maritime bubble because they were so close.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get anything. Like they were too far away from Europe to get anything, but not part of Canada either. Yeah. So, yeah.
Okay, so if you're flying into a country you never visited before, what's the first thing you would do? Would you like go to a pub or get some food, or what would you do other than a hotel check-in? I'm just saying, like, what would be the first thing?
I would get food probably. I'd probably be like, although depending on the time of day, maybe I would hit the pub.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
You go to England, when you get into the airport, there's pubs in the airport. So.
Oh, I love it.
Fish and chips and everything.
For a pint first.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Well, the first time we flew into England, we went to we were flying to Amsterdam right at the same day, so we like just went to a different part of the airport, and we went into the restaurant there. We were starving. We had been up for like 20 hours at that point, and they had breakfast, and I had a Guinness that went with my breakfast. It was just so awesome. It was the best Guinness I ever
love
tasted.
That.
So that's awesome. Which country would you say you're least likely to visit?
Oh, that's a tough one. I've never really thought about it. I just have places I really want to go more than others. But like, there's no country that's off the list, really. I mean, maybe a country where I might die. So like the really like war-torn African countries, maybe I'll avoid those ones.
Like Libya or something like that, or
or actually, I would go to Libya after watching Departures. Really cool. When they went to Libya, I was like, I would go there. But there's a few countries that because I used to work in mining, and so I heard about all these people that would go missing in these countries, and I won't go there.
Faso and Ghana and
yes, and like Congo, I would go to Congo.
We're going there.
But really, if North Korea was on the table, I would go to North Korea.
I'm going to North Korea.
Oh, are you?
Yes, North Korea is actually very.
Are
safe.
You?
It's very safe if you're a Canadian, and you follow all the rules because you're in a tour group the entire time. As long as you follow all the rules, you don't do anything disrespectful, you'll be totally fine. And it's actually not that expensive. It's like
I would totally go there.
Airfare and accommodations and like the visa and stuff like that. It's like $2,200 Canadian. That's it.
Wow.
That flies you there and the train back into China afterwards. So you have to fly into China in Beijing, and then Beijing they fly from Beijing to Pyeongchang or Pyongyang. I always get those two confused. But you go right into the heart of North Korea, and you could stay for up to 11 days, and you could do a tour. They'll take you up the coast. You could stay at resorts, and you go to the beach and everything like that. Watch the Indigo Traveler for North Korea. He does a really good. It's like 10 or 11 videos, and it's really cool. He shows like a lot of stuff.
I should check that. I think I've seen some of them. I recall seeing him go to North Korea, but I don't know if I've seen all of them in succession.
They're really cool.
Oh no! Come on, laptop.
You're still there. I can still hear you. There you are.
Sorry, my Wi-Fi is so bad. I apologize.
Okay. Are you interested in world history?
Sorry?
Are you interested in world history?
Oh, we froze again.
You hear me?
Yes. I'm actually, now that I'm back going to college, I have to take a few like elective courses, and one of them, I'm going to take a few history courses, because now that I'm so into travel and watching things, I want to learn about these places where I want to go. So definitely very interested in world history for sure.
One of the reasons why I'm learning about Portugal is because they actually started the slave trade.
Oh, I didn't know
they
that.
basically started the entire slave trade for what happened with all the Americans and Africa and stuff like that. And they were actually the first country to stop the slave trade as well. So there's a tour you can do in Lisbon where they talk about, like, Black people will take you through what they had to do with the slavery and stuff like that. They'll take you a tour around and show you a lot and tell you the history of what happened there. Which is really interesting because it's so poignant to everything that's happening.
Oh, cool. I would not have thought it came from Portugal at all. I definitely.
Yeah. Oh. What food would you be most interested in trying, like country's food?
Well, I mean, I've already had it, but I really want to go and eat donaires in Turkey.
Donaires are amazing. I love donaires. What's your favorite type of donaire?
I love donaires. The Hawaiian one. It's got like chicken and pineapple and the sweet sauce in it. They call it not Hawaiian. What do they call it? I don't know. I can't remember what they call it. It wasn't Hawaiian, but they called it something.
Yeah.
But it's got the pineapple and sweet sauce in it.
I like the Lebanese.
And you cannot find. Oh, that's a good one too. With the hummus in it.
Yeah, hummus, tzatziki, hot sauce, and there's another sauce in there too. It's really good.
I cannot get a good donaire in Victoria. I'm really upset about that. I thought I would move here and there'd be like one spot where I could get my donaire from. No, there is not one single donaire place on the South Island. And every time I go home, I'm like, I have to get a donaire because I can't get this at home.
We have like 6 places in Abbotsford for donaires. And
they were everywhere.
3 or 4 of them are on Skip the Dishes too, right? So if you're hungry for a donaire, you get it delivered no problem. So
I remember when I lived in Abbotsford and I would go and I'm like, okay, I'm going to try this place today. This next week, I'm going to try this place over here. So many options. Here, I'm like, there's no donaires. So, But I know I've already tried it, but I just want to go there and eat like authentic donaires, like
where they have
where they came from.
They cut the food down on the spit thingies.
Yeah, exactly.
So, what food? That one. What excites you most about travel?
Just seeing new places and experiencing cultures that are unlike our own. I had culture shock when I came home from Peru, which I wasn't expecting. I thought I would have it going there because, like, it's a third world country. Like, I saw a lot of really, what I perceived before I went as like kind of sad, but then you get there and the people are so happy. Like they don't feel impoverished, even though compared to our standard of living, it seems that way. But like they were a lot happier than we are up here in Canada sometimes. And so when I came home, I really struggled for quite a few months with like, where do I go from here? Like I was kind of lost for a while after that. I actually dropped out of school after I came home from Peru. It was 10 days and it affected me that much that I dropped out of school. Wow. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. I'm totally like, this changed my perception on everything. And I never really unpacked that, but I think I got it figured out now.
So, what is your favorite ethnic food? Like, it doesn't have to be something like a country you've been to, but like what, like Greek food or Japanese sushi or ramen or Chinese food or
actually something that's been on my mind a lot lately is Pakistani food. I have been craving it so bad, and that's all I can think about sometimes. I had it once many years ago, and it was so good. It was not supposed to be the plan that day at all. Like we were supposed to go for like, I think we were going to go to Kobe downtown, where they like cook your food on the flat top grill or whatever, and it was too busy. We didn't make a reservation, so that was our fault. So the person that we went with was like, well, I know this great place over here. So we went to Casbah, downtown Vancouver, and he ordered for us because he was Pakistani, so he knew what to get. So he ordered for the table, and oh my gosh, that food! I wasn't used to eating with my fingers, and you have to eat with your fingers.
Right fingers, left finger, you don't.
Yeah, exactly. So that was kind of a weird thing for me, but oh my gosh. And like lately they have Pakistani food here, so I can find it in Victoria, but I've been thinking about it a lot.
There's a really good Afghan restaurant in Surrey. So good. It's like amazing. And it's the flavors there are just amazing. It's run by like a family of Afghanis, and their mom works in the kitchen and does like all the recipes and stuff like that. And it's just so authentic. It's so tasty. I can still see you. Yeah.
Okay, good.
It's just amazing. Like Afghani, Pakistani, Indian food. They're just the flavors are just amazing. It's just.
Yeah, they really know how to blend the spices and make them work in a way that you've never tasted before.
Yeah. Like I love curry, and I just love anything that has like a curry flavor to it. It's just making me hungry just talking about this.
Right. Now I'm like thinking like, should I have Pakistani food for dinner tonight? I'm thinking about it.
Can you remember the first trip you ever went on?
The first trip I have memory of going on was going to Disneyland when I was 11. But I did go to Hawaii when I was 4 months old.
I was a year, so I don't remember it either. So
yeah, but Disneyland was the first trip I remember going on. I actually found my diary from my trip to Disneyland a few days ago. I didn't think I had brought it with me to Victoria, but apparently I did, and I found my diary, and it was very cute. I was all excited about going on an airplane and getting to do all the stuff, and it was a good trip.
Cool. And you've been to Disney World since then too, right? So
I went to Disney World when I was like 25 or 24, which was awesome. It was better as an adult, definitely.
I can imagine.
And I didn't know this, but you can drink in Disney World. You can't drink in Magic Kingdom, but you can drink in all the other parks. So we're like walking around, and they're just serving beer and out of a cart. We were like, okay, so we're walking around having a beer. It was fantastic.
That's we've been in Paris, and there's Disneyland Paris, and we've been to Tokyo, and there's Disneyland Tokyo, and we've been to China, and there's a Disneyland in Beijing. And we haven't been to Hong Kong, but there's one in Hong Kong too. So we've been to all these places, but we've never actually gone to Disneyland while we were there. So it's just, we had the opportunity, but we never could. So.
Yeah. Well, it's definitely, I don't know if I would go to Disneyland in another country. Like I've just heard that it's just not the same as the Disneyland in the States. And I don't know if I want to like taint my the innocence of it. I don't know.
Well, even the difference between Disneyland and California and Disney World, there's a difference in the stuff too, right? There's different things there. Like
I was actually disappointed. I was disappointed by Disney World. I thought it was going to be like bigger and better than Disneyland, but it's just the same amount of stuff split up into 4 parks. The park I ended up liking the most was Epcot, because it was so different. It wasn't like a regular theme park. Like there were rides, not very many of them. It was more like learning and experiencing. And so I ended up liking, I liked Epcot the best. Plus you can drink around the world in Epcot.
I heard that they have, they sell Smarties at the Canadian one or something like that. And everyone's always impressed with their Smarties, because the Smarties aren't sold in America, right? They have them in Canada and the UK and stuff like that, but they don't have them in the United States. So they're always impressed.
That's exactly it.
Smarties.
I remember thinking I was so funny. We went to the Canada one, and I was like, I'm gonna have a Molson, and then I'm going along, and I'm like, why did I have a Molson that I could have at home? It's not even that good. When I could have had something in Japan or China or Mexico, and I did, but I didn't want to be wasted by the time I got around the lake. So
well, the funny thing is you learn about Mexico is they actually don't put lime in the Corona. They just do it for tourists. because traditionally they just drink them straight, and then just the tourists like put the limes in it. So they put them in. You go to a resort or whatever, they'll put a lime in there. But that's only if you ask, sort of thing. So
yeah,
I told my dad
funny.
that, he's like, really, they don't? I'm like, no, it's just a thing that tourists do.
Oh,
that's stuff I've learned from watching videos online, right? Like you learn to like, by the way, they don't do this here.
Totally.
So do you have anything you want to say about travel or anything like that? Or
I say just do it. Just do it. Don't wait. I waited, and now I have to wait even longer because of COVID. So I'm very much looking forward to the day when I can take off, but I think that'll be after I finish my master's degree. So be a few more years, but I'm really excited. So
about Japan is just be ready for a bit of a culture shock when you first get there, because everything is so clean and they're so organized. Like when you go up the stairs or the escalators, they'll have 2 escalators or the stairs, whatever. One side is for walking and one side is for standing. You don't stop in the walk side that you're walking on, and you don't walk on the side you're standing on. So it's just they're very strict, and they're very polite though. And they try to speak English if they can. A lot of people do speak English, but you will run into parts where they don't speak English. And
this is why I want to learn Japanese.
Yeah.
So that I can, communicate with them.
To a sushi restaurant, and it was one of those ones that have the conveyor belts and stuff like that.
Oh,
and they had touch screens, and you can order everything off of the touch screen, and they have pictures and all that stuff. But we got in there, and there's all these Japanese people in line, and you touch a screen and you pick how many people are in there and stuff, but it was all in Japanese and there's no translation thing. So we were confused. And we were asking for help, and everyone noticed that we couldn't do anything. And so they got a girl from the kitchen that spoke a little bit of English. And so she kind of was translating to us, and she's like, how many people? I said 2. And she said, do you want a table or do you want like the counter sort of thing? And we said, oh, we don't care, whatever was first. She's like, oh, so you push this. And then eventually we got in there, and it was so cool. You like order a beer from there, and they bring you a beer to the table, and they have like frozen grapes, or like a delicacy, I guess, for Japanese people. So they have those frozen grapes, and they have plum wine, which Carla loved. And it was just the stuff they have there. And then you order something, and it comes along on the conveyor belt, and you take it off, and then it shoots all the way back to the kitchen. It's really neat.
Yeah. You should ask Trevor, if you interview Trevor for your channel, you should ask Trevor about his plum wine story.
Oh, okay.
He has got the funniest story I've ever heard about the time that he had plum wine in Japan. So
I'll have to ask him about that.
I'm just laughing thinking about
it. He drank a lot, I take it?
Yeah.
Okay. It sneaks up on you.
It's so funny. It really does. Yeah. I have had it with him at home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I'll have to keep that in mind when I talk to him, because he's been to Japan and China, right?
Yes. Yeah. He went to China for a month, and he's been to Japan twice now, I think, or technically 3 times. He had a really long layover there when he was going to the Philippines. So he's also been to the Philippines too. So he's been all over the place.
Philippines are very that was like culture shock for us when we saw the poor people, like kids would beg for money on the side of the street. And you see all these animals, like cats that aren't fixed, and they'd be wandering around the street, and they'd just be like so sickly looking. And I posted something on Facebook the other day about supporting vets that go around the world and spay and neuter. So that's one of the things that we're going to focus on, Carla and I, that we want to start a foundation or donate money to come to animals that need help, because you see that people get more help in a lot of ways than animals do, because there's the organizations that give money, like UNICEF and all those other ones around the world, but there's not much for animals, especially stray dogs and stray cats. And one of the things we saw in Cuba was they actually have stray dogs that belong to certain neighborhoods, and they wear a little vest, and they have an ID with their picture on it, and it says they're being taken care of by this area, and people feed them and they drink them, and it's actually a law in Cuba that you have to take care of strays. So there's actual protection. And they had a cat sanctuary in the middle of Havana, which is really neat too. So they actually
that's cool.
They try to take care of them, which is cool. Cuba is communist, but communists, they care for people. It's like socialism, so scary, right? So but I never got that. The happiest countries in the world are socialist, right? So
Well,
But
my parents just adopted their dog from Mexico.
Yeah.
She was a stray. They just found her, the rescue found her wandering around on the road, and
Yeah.
they kind of took her, and no one said,
her.
"Hey, where's my dog?" And
Yeah. That was the same with my parents' dog. He was originally in Mexico, and then they went to California, and they got him from California.
Yeah. So. This is what made my parents get their dog, because your parents got oh my gosh, what's his name? Totally blanking on his name. Oh, I can't hear you. Petey. Oh, Petey, right. Yes, so they got Petey, and then my parents were like, oh, we should do that.
Yeah.
And that's how they have Mochi.
Yes, and Mochi's a Japanese delicacy, which Carla loves. She loves Mochi. She orders it from Amazon all the time, so.
She's a sweet treat.
Yes.
I love Mochi. I could eat Mochi every single day.
I wasn't a big fan of it, but Carla loves it. But we tried it. And
Whole Foods actually makes a really good dairy-free Mochi. Yeah. So if you ever find yourself near Whole Foods, it's made in store. It's so good.
Tell you that. We'll have to go out to West Van or whatever to get one. So
there's a Whole Foods in Burnaby.
Oh, really? Well,
next time I go all the way out there.
Okay. Well, I have to take
oh no.
One of our chinchillas.
I
can still hear you. Oh, you're back.
Sorry, I've lost you there. There we go.
One of our chinchillas needs dental care, and I drive into Vancouver once every 2 weeks. And so Burnaby is really close there, so I can get some for it there. So I'll try it.
Yeah, there you go. In Brentwood. It's right by the Lougheed Mall. Or sorry, Brentwood Mall.
Brentwood Mall, yeah.
Yeah, I used to live right around the corner from there, so I would walk over and get my mochi.
You got your banh mi's, your mochi, and your donaires.
Yeah, and my Pakistani food.
Pakistani food.
All of it. Any Pakistani food. Just give me all of it.
Pakistan is definitely on my bucket list of countries to go to. It's on our list of in the next 10 years. We're going to go to Pakistan and India in the same trip, which would be really cool. The different foods and flavors and stuff like that. So, oh, here comes Rory.
Is there a kitty?
Kitty.
Hi, Rory. He's got his little diaper on. Let me grab Percy. He's just having a nap, but I'll wake him up. Come say hi.
Cousin Rory.
Say hi.
He looks very impressed.
Well, he was having a good nap.
Aww.
He was like on his back, had his like paws over his eyes. And he's like, "Why you wake me up, Mom? Why you do that?"
We have a dog right now that's barking. It's from one of our friends. She works in the movie industry with animals, and she's in Australia right now. And he's blind. And he's old. He's a Chihuahua, so he just sleeps in a little pen all the time. And he's barking right now, though.
Aw, he's hungry. Percy's gonna go back to sleep in my arms. Aren't you?
Anything else you want to say, or?
No, I think that's about it.
Okay, I'll stop recording.
This was really fun.
I'll stop recording. I'll just chat with you for a few minutes.